Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on Neevesknives. How's everybody doing? So I guess the leverletto is not a legit leverletto. I believe the Bones who sent it to me, who gave it to me, might have said that in his note, said that he thinks it's a knockoff or something like that. But that's what a bunch of people in the comments told me. They said it's not a legit one. These are like some AliExpress ones or some shit. I don't know. It has his name on it. That's why I said it, you know, but they're probably right. They're probably right. I know the mechanism isn't like what you see on the other leverlettos. But it's still a really good mechanism and it works really, really well. I still would love to see it done in a premium materials. So how's everybody doing? And King, no, I am live Wednesdays and Saturdays. I might cut one of them off and only do one day a week coming up soon, but the way it's been the past couple of years, it's been twice a week. Every Wednesday and Saturday, unless if I have like some family stuff. So I got the I just did that video. You guys, if you guys seen it, you guys already know. If not, this little concept, man, this thing is pretty damn dope, and it really does remind me of the Rosie, the Oz Roosevelt. Now, obviously, the Oz Roosevelt's like $1,000 knife, $600 to $1,000 knife. So, you know, I'm not trying to compare it in any way, shape, or form. Just, you know, like the feeling in the hand, you know, and like the stubbiness of it, and you know, the just a lot of little details about it kind of remind me of it. But yeah, I'm liking it quite a bit, and it's a great size too. That's the thing, when you do the handle right, if you can do the ergonomics in the handle just right with a blade length this long, this is plenty of blade for most things, you know, as long as the handle complements the blade, as long as it's very easy to, you know, to maneuver around in your hand and stuff. And this one has that. Now, oh wait, did I post that video? I don't think I did. So maybe I shouldn't show you guys this. Ah, fuck it. I can't remember if I posted this video or not, because I had a video that didn't go up, and I had to trash it. So it went up and something, I don't know, malfunctioned on it. I'm so glad I went to watch it before I hit go, because it was all messed up. But got the new Jack Wolf sharpshooter, the sharpshooter Jack. I freaking dig this thing. The color combo with the black and the blue, doesn't that look sexy? I kind of wish I had a black and blue slip. I got this one from Richter Knives. It still has the blue though. I still got the blue, so we're still matching. But yeah, I could compare it to the because it's the slip joint version of the Gunslinger, which is the locking version. S90V, hollow ground clip point blade. But yeah, I personally like this color combo. Obviously, there's a bunch of other ones. These will be coming out very, very soon. And we do have a whole bunch of stuff dropping on the NEEVEKNIVECO site tomorrow. And I have videos of some of the stuff that's dropping on there. Some stuff from Civivi, some stuff from or yes, and some stuff from Sencut. And then we also have some stuff coming. I'm not going to say what it is because I can't, but on the 15th, there's stuff that's dropping, and we're going to have some of those on there as well. You guys will see that when it comes up on the 15th. Very excited about that. Jared, sup, Jared, and guys, I'm eating, so no tagging. That's all right. It's all right. Gotta eat. Is there one metal that holds its edge the longest? Rex 121. That is the longest edge holding steel. It's the longest. It's the most wear resistant steel will be Rex 121. Next would be Maximet, and then next after that, I think is S110V. I'm not 100%. Once you start getting past Maximet, then you know, like, there's a bunch that are kind of close to each other. But yeah, Rex 121 is the leader of the pack. That shit's insane. But it's also, you know, the steel itself is insane. So it's not going to be something you're going to want on everything. You know, that goes for everything, right? You know, it's like the steel you would want in your axe is not the steel you'd want in your knife. And, you know, the steel you would want, you know, in certain knives is not the steel you'd want in other knives. So that's why it's so good that we have so many different steels. What's going on, Hillbilly? Mark says, just got the MBK Mayor slip joint. Really well done. Carbon fiber / tie scales with pearl inlays. K390 warranty for about 185. My first slip joint, and I dig it. K390s, that's my favorite steel. K390's my absolute favorite steel right now. Now, you know, Rex 45, I've been really loving that, you know, and the more I test it, you know, we'll see how it compares. But as far as right now goes, I still, you know, still holding true to the K390. Crew wear is another steel I fucking love a lot. I really like crew wear. Love K390. I like a lot of steels, but I think those would be my two, you know, main bays. And then Magna Cut and Van X is really good too. I love those steels, especially because they're such good steels with such high corrosion resistance. So there's an easy thing for everybody to get into, you know, because like say crew wear or Rex 45 or, you know, K390. While I might absolutely love those steels, there's going to be some people in this country that aren't going to want to stay away from it just because the corrosion resistance isn't the best. Personally, for me, I don't worry about it. I don't really care about that. Now I understand that people do, so I understand why they you know would or wouldn't. But man, I feel like if you take care, I know there's some places and some people that they breathe on it and it rusts, but for the most part, I think if you keep it clean, keep it dry, you're not gonna have to worry about too much. Would the Padre and DLC be a good pickup, or is it flavor of the week? I think so. I like, first off, the knife looks badass in DLC. It really does. It's a badass knife without the DLC. So I've personally been getting like a little bit of an eye for DLC lately. Not even just DLC, just coated blades, period. If you guys have noticed, I've gotten, you know, a few as of recently, you know, like even like my last two Jack Wolves have been blacked out, you know. I've been kind of going down that trend a little bit. And I think, you know, we all find those little trends here and there. You know, I'll come out of it eventually. Does your sharpening change how you feel or felt about steels? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's actually the main thing that does make me feel a way about a steel. Like say the reason why I like 154 CM over CPM 154, even though CPM 154 is superior to 154 CM. It's all about the sharpening. I just like the way 154 CM sharpens more than CPM 154. I don't like how CPM 154 polishes so easily. It polishes entirely way too easily for my liking, and it makes it to where the edge gets slick. So, you know, I would rather have, even with a medium grit edge, it just, you know, it's like, it's almost like a 600 is like a 1200 grit on that steel. So, you know, it's, you want to use, like, in my opinion, you want to use a medium to coarse grit on that edge, you know, for use, especially if you don't want it to get slick. But yeah, there's a lot of steels though that's basically where I, you know, wind up liking or hating, is because of the sharpening experience, how it sharpens, the type of edges it takes, how it holds an edge, how well it maintains, how well it strops back, all that good stuff. Because there's some steels, and it's not just budget steels. I remember when I first started in this community, I honestly thought that like premium steels wouldn't strop or hone back as easy as budget steels, right? That's what I thought, but it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the heat treat. Like I can get some super steels to come back like constant, like over and over and over and over with honing and stropping, as long as it's heat treated well, you know. But then the same exact steel that's not, I won't get that experience. Like I'll be able to strop it back and hone it back once or twice, but not over and over and over and over. And it's just that ability to hold that keen edge, you know, especially when you put a low angle edge on it. You know, you don't, a lot of times when you sharpen and you put a low angle edge on a knife, right, you don't want to have to resharpen it right away, you know, especially if you know, if it's not like, you know, chipped or anything like that. It's nice to just be able to just hone it back. You have a nice big bevel already, so it's usually easier to hone back with a lower angle edge. And I know that's true. One, behind the apex is slimmer, so you know, because the lower the angle you go, the thinner behind the apex it is. So obviously it's going to be easier to strop and hone back because the apex is thinner. So you know, it just having that ability to keep going, you know, is important to me. Um, should I use my stone for certain knives and my pole sharpener for others? I just got my pole sharpener and I don't know. I wouldn't use a pull through sharpener at all. I'm not sure what type of sharpener you're talking about. I'm guessing you're talking about a pull through sharpener. If you're talking about a pull through sharpener, throw it in the garbage. The only thing I would say to use that for is if you're like desperate in the field and you're like skinning a deer or something, and you know, bears are coming or something. There might be a reason you might need to use it one time or once, you know, out of nowhere because, you know, shit's hitting the fan or something and you don't have time to sharpen. But you want to use a real stone, like, you know, whether you're using fixed angled or using freehand, you want to use stone. Belts, you know, you can use belts. Belts are not bad, but they're not as good as stones. They'll never be as good as stones. Hey John, been a member for 10 months. Hey Jared, bought a Spyderco Shaman serrated. Hell yeah, got them serrations, huh? I'm not the biggest serrated fan, but I'll tell you what, if I am going to get serrated, I want the entire blade to be serrated like Spyderco does. Any odd takes on what the new and upcoming trends in the knife world will be this year? Yeah, I think a few things are going to happen. I'm hoping that some companies start getting their head out of the, you know, out of the dirt with heat treatments and, you know, using certain steels and, you know, using better steels. I do think, you know, some things are just going to keep going. The button locks going to keep going. Crossbar locks are going to keep going. Hopefully we see some new innovative locks. I do agree with Melissa Backwoods on something. She said that she thinks that because the past 2 years we've been in the trend of the drop point and the spear point, and I know I probably had a lot to do with that, but it is getting to the point to where there's so much, too many, right? There's so many of that shape that, you know, which is good. It was good for the time being, but now we're wanting a little different. We're wanting to see some unique shit. We're wanting to see some crazy. So I do agree with her that we're going to start seeing trends in like wicked blade shapes becoming a little bit popular. But we'll see. I read that one. That edge, but the 154 on my growler takes the nastiest edge of almost any knife I have, regardless of make or price. 154 CM takes an incredibly sharp edge, and it's easy to sharpen. CP on 154 even easier. It does take an edge very easily. It sharpens up real easily. That's just my issue with it, is how easy it does, as far as going through the grits, not necessarily of its sharpness, but and I'm not specifically talking about how sharp it gets. Like, yeah, it'll get incredibly sharp. What I'm talking about is how it holds the bite. So when I'm speaking about the bite, I'm talking about the teeth at the apex. How well does it hold those microscopic teeth? You know, when you're touching your edge and you can just feel like it's almost like little micro serrations biting into your skin, that feeling, rather than when you can take an edge that'll cut paper cleanly, but you can run your fingers back and forth because it's slick. All here tonight. If anybody wants to know who owns YouTube, it's Todd Carr. For a new sharpener, would you recommend pushing or pulling, or a combination of both? Combination of both. I actually did a short on this recently, and I was we can watch it if you want to, but I recently did a video talking about that. And basically, you have to do both, but just at different times. So if you can hold your angle perfectly, you can go back and forth all day, right? Sometimes there's going to be easier to actually just do pushes and then lift up and set back down, push, lift up, set back down. You're going to be able to hold your angle a little better that way. Sometimes you're going to be able to hold, it just depends on the blade shape, the grind, the thickness, the stones you're using. And, you know, there's times where back and forth is going to be better for you. Now, with burr removal, you want to do the edge trailing passes, you know, kind of like stropping. You want to do it that direction. You can do regular passes too, but you first want to fatigue the burr with edge trailing passes. So you got to do a little bit of both. It becomes a balance. But that doesn't mean like you don't want to go, you don't really want to sharpen backward, just backwards. You know, you want to go forwards and backwards if you're going to do it, because then you can lock in an angle. And if you can stay with it, you can stay with it. Problem is a lot of people, what'll happen is if you keep the knife on the stone and you do back and forth, and I'm not saying this happens to everybody, like people that are really good at it won't do this, but people that are not as good at it will convex their edge. Not that that's a bad thing. You know, convex edges are great, but I'm just saying that's what it will lead to. I got that one. Thanks to you, last week I bought a whetstone and hand sharpened a group of knives for the first time. Hell yeah. A sharp knife is such a pleasure. Yes, it absolutely is. Shout out to King. Yeah, it's a great thing when you can sharpen your own knives, because I'll tell you what, man, you might go 10, 20, 30 years, you know, with dull knives in the kitchen. The second you know how to sharpen, you'll never have a fucking dull knife again, because you won't tolerate it. Like, it'll drive you nuts. Like, if you get a tomato and it smashes when you go to, you know, cut through it or whatever you're cutting, doesn't matter what it is. You know, when you get used to a sharp knife going through like butter, you know, because it's not even just about like how the food's going to turn out. It's also just about the experience when you're cutting and how messy it gets, how aggravating it gets, all that stuff. You know, even like they say, if I'm breaking down boxes, right? If I'm breaking down boxes, I want a sharp fucking knife. I want it to be as sharp as I can get it, because I know I'm going to wear down the edge quite a bit. So I don't want to start off with a, you know, with a chewed up edge. So, you know, and then if I do, the experience is going to be that much worse. It's going to be dragging. It's going to be snagging. It's going to be, you know, just a mess, and it takes so much longer. So, you know, it's always better to have a sharp edge than you know, a not sharp edge. I think that's common sense, but all cash like Neeves. Jared got a good one for you. The Friday night flip. Grab a front flipper upside down and index the flipper with the pinky, and you know the rest. Boom. Not sure if I can do this one. I don't know if I can do it with my pinky. No, not with this one. I can do it with my middle though. You said in reverse, right? Ooh. There's one thing I want to bitch at you guys about. And listen, I know a lot of you guys are guilty of this. I've even done it. So, you know, it's okay. Don't get too butthurt over this. But I'll tell you one thing I'm getting sick of. I'm really getting sick of it. Starting to annoy me. And that is when I'm scrolling through Instagram or even YouTube shorts, and I get to a guy's video and the first thing he's doing is fucking twirling the knife. I don't know about you guys, but it's starting to get to me. You know, it's like, do you have to twirl the knife every single time? You know, like it just, and then this is the problem. If one guy was doing it, it'd be one thing, but like 30 guys are doing it. So it's like every time you get to a thing, they're fucking twirling this knife around. And it's like, Jesus, I wind up getting to it and I just scroll right past. I can't watch this shit again. Fucking, I've seen 667 twirls in the past month. You know, I don't know. It's just starting to get aggravating to me. Can I use 3-in-1 oil for pivots? You can, but the best thing to use is KPL. It's thicker. So 3-in-1 is great, right? Use 3-in-1, I would say, for oiling your blades, the internals, things like that. And you can use it for the pivot. You can use it for the D10 ball. But if you get KPL heavy and KPL regular, you can, it's thicker. It's more like a gel, like here, I'll show you. So this is KPL heavy. Watch how slow this stuff comes out. I'm squeezing. Look at that. It comes out like a gel. So that is better for the detent ball. The heavy, you want the heavy oil for the detent ball. Now for the pivot, for the bearings, you want regular, which is not as jelly as that, but it is a little bit thicker. But it comes with the needle applicator, so you don't put a lot on there. Like I can literally just put a little tiny dot exactly where I want it. So that's what I would recommend. But yeah, you can use 3-in-1. Is a cleaver blade a good? No, I would say no. I would say the only time it could be is if it's big for chopping. Like if you're gonna chop with it, yeah, but I wouldn't want it in a fight. I would want something with a pokey tip, something that can pierce, something with a straight edge is really good. That's like not a cleaver, that's like a worn cliff. I personally think like a spear point is probably the best, but a worn cliff is good, obviously. Worn cliff is really good. But yeah, cleaver blade, it's just it doesn't have that tip. Obviously, you can use it, and certain ones you're going to penetrate better than others, but it's going to be more for slashing, which is not a bad thing to do. I'm not saying, the problem with slashing is that when you're slashing, right, you want to keep it tight. Like you don't want to slash like this, right? That's how you get your arms caught. That's how you get people to rush in. You're leaving yourself open every time you lift and every time you draw. So you want to keep it nice and tight where you never let your arms like out of, out anywhere. And with a cleaver, it might be a little tougher. Got my first set of diamond stones coming tomorrow. The ones you recommend in the Tonto sharpening video, was curious about that video. If you just used a 600 grit stone to get that working edge, I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but I would usually start with a 300 or less. I normally start between 100 and 300 grit for my first stone, and then I'll move to a 600 grit. If I start at 100 grit, I'll go to 300 grit and then 600. If I start at 300 grit, then I'll just go to 600 grit. And then that's a good stone to stop on. You can stop there, or you can go farther to like 1200 if you want to. Remember, going farther isn't making your knife sharper. It's just refining the teeth. Your first stone makes the sharpness. Don't get me wrong. When you're at a very, very coarse edge, like say a 50 grit or something, yeah, it's not going to be as sharp as it will be at 300 grit, but that's just because the teeth are so big. So it's more of that. And so once you're past 300 grit, you've basically got your sharpness. You're just refining the edge later, making your teeth bigger or smaller. Just joined the channel this past week and already gotten so much better at sharpening. Love those sharpening videos. Hell yeah. Heavy metal, that's badass. Just so anybody who knows who's watching, maybe you're not commenting, I do have an entire playlist of sharpening videos that teach knife sharpening, so anybody can watch them. Aside from the membership stuff where we teach and we do live sharpening, there is that playlist with hundreds of sharpening videos. I'm irritated because my leaks assist seems to be broken, or at least not well lubricated, because it don't open anymore, just halfway. Yeah, if it'll open halfway, then it's still there. So you just need to lubricate it. So you need to lubricate the pivot, lubricate the I think that thing has a detent, but you might also want to lubricate the spring itself. But take it apart, maybe clean it up. That's probably all it is. If it's opening a little bit, then the spring is still working. When the spring breaks, it won't open at all. I got a broken one, so I know. Dude, I just got me a baby band of Warncliffe, and it's so tiny, but seems to be a useful little thing. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't got the Warncliffe, but I got plenty of them. I got every single banter. I got the big one, I got the little one, I got the regular one. But yeah, these suckers are tiny, ain't they? But you can get a full 4-finger grip. It's tight, but you can get it. I am left-handed, and I can't find any left-handed friendly knives. There's a lot of them. I don't know how much money you want to spend, but there's companies that actually do left-handed knives. I believe Liang Ma does some. Not that I'm trying to shout him out or anything. Maybe Tasha Baruka. I'm not positive on that. Chris Reeves. Chris Reeves, you can find their lefties all over the place. But that's, you know, $500 plus. So just depends on how much you want to spend. But if you're a lefty, just get a button lock, get a crossbar lock. Those are all, crossbar lock is a lefty friendly knife. It's ambidextrous. It's the exact same left or right handed. So I'm not sure why you're having troubles. You just flip the clip over to that side and then go to town. So yeah, get a crossbar lock. That's the most ambidextrous knife you can get, next to like a back lock. What do you think of Murray Carter's jointing technique? I'd have to see it again. I'm not sure if I remember it. Yeah, it's a good one too. The mini pyrite, that sucker's badass. That is like a super useful little, like kind of like even this with a Warncliffe, how this would be, but it's kind, you know, kind of similar. But yeah, that little sheep's foot blade on that thing is so useful. And when you get it in hand, you realize like it's so compact. It's like it's almost like it's kind of like you have like a little utility blade in your hand. It's nice. By the way, my wife loves her more Malaya. And I got a Midgard Messer Tonto thing. I can't remember its name. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like the more Malaya a lot, too. I actually fell in love with that thing. I can't believe I don't have one in the collection. I have a mini or the regular Malaya, but I don't have the more Malaya, but I did have one at one time for a little while. Somebody loaned it to me, and I fucking loved it. I really did. I still, every time I see it, I always think about buying it again. Hey, there's Richter Knives. We were talking about you earlier. Good advice on the crossbar lock. Hell yeah. You are bang on with the top 25 of 2023 with the Artisan boas. My tactical boa will not leave my pocket. So good. Yeah. Yeah, the boa's really good. I actually got them sitting right back here. There was something I was going to talk about. What the hell was it? Oh, I got so somebody was asking me in the comments to test out this sharpener, and basically what it is it's a freehand fixed angled sharpener. So it's a stone, you know, and it holds the blade at the angle, but you have to still control it, but it helps you go back to the same angle. So possibly it might help you learn how to freehand better. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Maybe it'll just help you, you know, get a good edge with that system. I don't know. So I'll find out. I do think that I'm going to test it, but I do think that if you want to learn freehand, you just got to do it. That's the thing. And maybe this could help. There are like angle guides you can strap to your blade that do help. But if you have, it's kind of like training wheels, I guess, you know, with training wheels, eventually, you know, you don't need them no more. So I guess it could be kind of like that. Maybe. Is a ceramic ball bearing for the Manix to a gimmick or what the upgrade? I don't think you don't have to get it. It's not going to do anything really. It might make it a little tiny bit smoother, but it is harder. So I guess you could say that the steel one would bend and morph probably before the ceramic one would shatter. So those ceramic balls are making it in a sphere like that just makes those things incredibly strong. Like I never even believed it until I took a bearing and tried to smash one. And yeah, they're incredibly hard. So, you know, it potentially make it a little bit stronger or tougher, but I don't know if you'll ever push it to the limits where the steel one wouldn't be as strong for what you need. So I think it's more of a gimmick. Now I do think getting the cage is really good though. I love getting the titanium cage. I don't have it in all mine, but I might get some for the lightweights. But the titanium cage, it's grippier, you know, makes it feel more solid. And during the testing, when that thing failed, I believe it was the cage that failed first. And it like if the cage failed because it's plastic and then it pushed it out of the back. I believe if that's steel or titanium or some sort of metal, it'll make it a lot more stronger. I haven't seen the testing on a titanium one, but I'm just guessing. Yes, I did. Actually, I wrote that down. We were supposed to talk about it. So yeah, CRKT dropped a whole bunch of stuff. They reached out to me. We reached out to each other. And they said they were going to send me these new USA made knives from them. And then they didn't say nothing back for a long time. I just messaged them today when I seen these drop. I said, hey, what's going on? I thought you guys were sending those. And they said, yeah, we're waiting for something. I think they have some other stuff coming. I don't know. So I might just wind up purchasing some of these. But you can see right here, these ones are USA made. These two, they're automatics. Use my Blade HQ link if you're going to go check them out. This one's in Magna Cut, 130 thousandths blade stock thickness, 7.8 inches overall. And I believe it's the scales. You just, twist the scales and that's how it opens up, which is cool. But the one I was really liking, I was looking at these two. So look at this one. This one is a manual knife. It's not assisted. It's 14C28N and it's $64. Now it is made in China. So there is that, but it looks kind of cool. And I've always dug CRKT's designs. I just always hated a lot of their execution and the fact that they used assisted a lot. This one's also a manual. And look at this. This is micarta in stainless steel frame lock and 14C28N for $65 again. Not too shabby. That's not too bad. I might just wind up purchasing at least these two, but this one is the one I really want to get my hands on. These ones are made in Taiwan. They're S35 VM, but this is the field strip construction. So if you guys don't know what that is, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, you can take it apart like in the blink of an eye. Like you don't have to have no tools, no nothing. You can just take it apart. You just twist this thing back here and basically the scales come apart, and it actually supposedly works very well. Supposedly this knife works very well as far as action goes, and the tolerances with the scales supposedly they go together really solid. So but yeah, I'm thinking about getting them. I was looking at these, the new Pilar and stuff, because I know that's a manual. These guys I can't stand. I can't stand this stuff right here, this little cutout, because it winds up making this little section sharp when you go to disengage the knife. Anyways, very cool though. She is doing just fine. Any updates on the Spyderco Crew card of Mannix 2XL? I don't get updates on that stuff, so I don't have no connection with Spyderco whatsoever. I just pay attention to the Blade HQ stuff for that. Because I have no connection with them. I've tried to reach out, but not that they are ignoring me or anything. I just, I probably just need to try harder. Is the Mannix really that hard to disassemble? No. Once you get it down, it's fine. It's just understanding what screws to take out when. So what I would recommend you do is go watch Metal Complex's video. I never made a video because his video is perfect. He does a video showing you exactly, like, if you're going to change the scales, take these screws out. If you're going to change, if you're going to, do something else, do this. Like, he actually has it broke down, and it's a good video. So I would recommend you to go watch his video. Best micron gunny juice to hone on basswood. Gonna try keeping my Shuro going as long as possible without going to a stone. Well, what I would recommend is going to a stone for honing. So I would say go to a stone that's 2,000 grit and above, 2,000, 2,500, 3,500, 5,000, something like that, something that's really fine, because that will, in my opinion, it'll work 10 times better for, you make a couple passes with that, then go to the strap. But what I would say, depending on the grit, so if it's not a sharpened edge, so you haven't sharpened it and it's a factory edge, I would say just use, 6 micron. Now, if you have sharpened it, depending on the grit you chose, like say if you have a 600 grit edge, I would say go like 9 micron. If you went with a polished edge, then I would say make sure you do like a 1 micron. 6 micron is a good balance because it's fine enough that you can use it on polished edges and toothy enough that you can use it on toothy edges, but it's not going to be as good for toothy edges as like 9 micron or 12 micron. And just like 6 micron is not going to be as good for polished edges as say 1 micron or quarter micron, but it works for both. So that's why I think that that's like the best one to get if you're just looking for an all-arounder. But if you're looking for something specific, then, you know, you got to get specific. Dude, I need one of you awesome knife reviewers to check out the Anos Eros before I can justify dropping over 500. I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. Anos Eros. Anos Eros. Anos Eros knife. Okay. Oh, I did see these. Where did I see these at? Did I see these on Instagram? I think I seen them on Instagram. It's an Anzo, right? Yep. So it's some sort of button lock. I'm not sure exactly how it's working, but it does look dope. I'll give it that. I'm trying to click on one. Yeah, conventional button lock. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just calling it out. What is it saying? What's the $100? Full price is $525. The micarta looks like some good quality micarta for the most part. Yeah, it looks like some good shit. Some decent shit at the very least. Yeah, I like it, but yeah, I haven't tried it, and that is a price to pay to test the knife. Maybe I can reach out to him. Do you think we'll see a lot more spine whacking, button and crossbar locks in 2024? It seems like that has been happening a lot more in recent days. Well, I think we're gonna until it starts going away again. So originally, like when I first started the channel, some locks were failing and we were doing it, but then it seemed like the companies kind of got their shit together, and I'm guessing they were testing them before they left the factory just in case, so that didn't happen because they didn't want the reputation. And then I think, you know, they just started getting lazy with it because we weren't testing them no more. So now I think if we do enough testing, you know, they'll start doing it themselves. You know, I don't think, I think there's a limit though. I think, you know, if you see somebody fucking spine working the shit out of it, you should expect it to fail. You know, but just a little light tap, it shouldn't fail from that. So that's why I don't sit there and slam it, because, you know, I understand that, you know, the vibration of the lock, you know, that's not gonna be the same as me putting pressure on it, you know. So, you know, that fast impact, you know, can like shock it and you know, I don't know, vibrate it, it does whatever, and it fucking makes it fail. But if you put pressure on the spine, it's not gonna fail. But now if you find one and you can literally just tap it and that fucker closes, well then yeah, you're probably gonna fail at putting pressure on it. So that's what I'm trying to get past. What's up, Ender Collector? What's up, brother? I want one, but I am not a rich man. But yeah, I wish I knew more about the Spider Coast coming out, man. I wish I had direct connection to find out, because I would love that. I seen the Yojimbos dropped, the mini Yojimbos. You like Damn Designs, thinking of getting that big front flipper, the Jin, I think, or should I go with another? Damn Designs is good. They do have great designs. I don't think you could really go wrong with any of them. They're all pretty good. Even some of their collaboration knives are really good. Their handle design is very well done for use. Like when you get it in hand, like that's what the Mad Tonto is. The Mad Tonto, I think it's right here. Yeah, this is a damn design. So like this, like these ergonomics are just so good for a hand. So yeah, I think the damn designs are done very well. Who makes the best aftermarket titanium or aluminum scales for the Manix 2 in your opinion, considering the Rock scale designs titanium? I'm gonna say original goat, but they're not done with them yet, so it's gonna be a little bit. I haven't tested them yet, but I already know because I've tested so many of their scales. They do such a good job, but they're still working on them, so it's going to be a little bit. But other than that, I don't know. I'd say I don't know, because like the scales I got from different companies. So One of them was from Etsy, and the other one I can't remember. I don't know if it was Flytanium or RC Blade Works, but I'm gonna wait for Original Goat, because Original Goat I think does the best, and then they're 100% USA made, and that's what I want on my USA made knife. Looks like a lot of more Spyderco Salt models are coming out. That's cool. I'd love to see, man. I wish Spyderco would do more. Like, I don't get me wrong. Like, I love them. I think they're kicking ass 100%. But I would love to see some new designs from them, or even some innovations to some designs. You know, I think that would be so badass. Like redoing the Gale Bradley with a ball lock or something. That'd be so badass. How do you guys feel about cold steel knives? Cold steel knives, the toughest knives on the planet. They're badass. I love cold steel. I think cold steel is the most indestructible knife you can probably get as far as lock strength goes. Yeah, those are real hard use knives. They have a lot of other knives too, not just the triad locks, but as far as their triad lock stuff, whew. Thinking about giving some blood and semen for a Herman. Try kidneys. Give one of those bitches up. Also made my other custom. I call it the HJWK Blizzard button lock titanium with Damascus harpoon tanto. I got a harpoon tanto I'm designing right now. I think it looks pretty dope. Kevin, hey man, thank you for the 2 bones. I appreciate it, man. Hell yeah. We got our first donnie for the night. I appreciate it. Is there a product cycle companies follow, or do new releases spontaneously get released? So each company has their own releases, so you would have to stay up to date with each company. Now you'll see they'll usually announce things on Instagram, so you want to follow the companies on Instagram is one way. But then they also, like, I don't know who all has control or has access to it, but like I get, like, from some companies, I get their product sheet for the year. But it's just on their site. Like, it's not like I'm special. You can just go to their site and look at it. You have to download it. But like Concept does that. But they're going to come out with more stuff than that. That's just the stuff they have planned. Now they're going to have a lot of other stuff in between that. So, you know, it just depends on what company. Some of them keep it to the chest until they drop. Like right now, the company that I keep saying is dropping on the 15th, I can't talk to them about because I signed an NDA. But so I can't tell you what it is, but they're going to keep it to the chest until it drops. So no, they're not going to have a post. They're not going to have nothing until it drops. When it drops, you'll be able to get it, but you're not going to see it until then. Yeah, okay. So I haven't ever tried those, but I've seen them. I will, you know, I'll agree with you there. Because I've heard that they're really good. Applied Weapon Tech. I just got here and I don't know what he's talking about. We can talk about whatever you want. Do you think button activated non-plunge locks will be popular in 2024? Yes. So I think that they're gonna reinvent it. I think that it's going to be either one, reinvented into the compression lock, or two, I think it's going to be reinvented some other way. I do have a plan in my head of one. I thought about trying to patent it and doing the locking mechanism, because on paper it works. It doesn't mean it'll work in real life, but yeah, I do. I think they're going to reinvent it. I think they're going to get away from the plunge. I think the plunge will still be popular. I think tons of companies are going to use it because they know how to do it. And I think if you know how to do the geometry, like look at Wii, man. Wii is kicking ass with it. ProTech. I mean, think about it. They've been doing that lock for ages, right? However, doing it in a manual version is different than doing it in an automatic version. So, but they're able to do it with both. And then a lot of other companies too. Freeman does a great button lock. So, you know, it's just, you know, they have to master it. They have to get good at it, you know, and that goes for frame locks, liner locks, all the locks, you know. Like a company that first starts liner locks or frame locks, guaranteed they're probably going to fail pretty easily, you know, or they're going to have some that do, because their lock face geometry just isn't on point yet. So sometimes you got to give them a little time. I don't have a Spyderco yet. I am looking at their new drop and thinking about Or thinking either the PM2 Salt and Magnet Cut or the Manix 2 and Crewwear. What would you steer me towards? So I personally, I like the Manix 2 more than the PM2. I like Crewwear a little bit more than Magnet Cut, if not equal. Like they're right there. You know, I like Crewwear for different reasons. Magnet Cut's a better steel, so Magnet Cut's going to be the superior steel. I like Crewwear because of the sharpening reasons. So I'd probably push it towards the PM2 Magnet Cut, especially if you're worried about rust and things like that. But the the Manix 2 and Crewwear is what I personally would buy. But I also love PM2, so I'm not saying I have multiple PM2, so I'm not trying to, you know, say that, you know, don't get a PM2. I'd say if I didn't have either one and I was like gonna buy, like if I had to get rid of all mine and I had to buy one now, you know, I'd pick the Manix first and then I'd go with the PM2. But you might like the PM2 more than the Manix. I like that lock from the Manix. I really do. I like the way the detent feels. I love the way it snaps. I'm actually carrying it right now. And I got gunk on it, but I did sharpen up this Rex 45. It's all, I got schmuck all over it, but super sticky. But yeah, I'd like that. Listen, I like that crack from the lock. I love it. Got so smooth too. Look at that. Charlie says, I just got the Scarab 2 OTF recently, and the switch is stiff as fuck that I need 2 hands to retract it. Any tips on how to loosen it up? Okay, so if you're gonna lubricate it, make sure you do it with WD-40 or Rem oil. But I would just use WD-40. So do that. That's the first thing I would do. That might help. But it's the spring tension. So the spring tension is just that way. Just continue using it and open and close it a bunch, and you'll start breaking in. 2 things will happen. Your thumb will get stronger and the spring will get weaker. So both will happen. Now, technically, yes, you could make it easier, but I don't recommend it because you have to take apart the knife, you have to take out the springs, and then you have to compress the springs. Or sorry, stretch the springs. You'd have to stretch them. Or no, wait. Sorry, you'd have to compress them. You have to compress the springs so that they get easier to push. But I'd say just keep flicking it and it'll break in. You'd be surprised how fast it's going to break in. Is just keep opening and closing it. You know, even if you have to use 2 hands. And like I said, your finger will get stronger too. I've had some too that like I've grabbed and I felt like a bitch. Dude, I am looking forward to finding me some scales for the Manix 2 lightweight Rex 45. OG, I'm waiting for them. I sent them one so that they can get all the measurements so they could make the scales. So I don't know how long or when they're going to have it done. I'm not going to contact them and ask them anything. I'm just going to wait for them to do it because, you know, I know some things take time, but they do have it. So it's in the works. I want that Stretch 2 XL. Wish they'd have done Magnet Cut. Want a 15V Stretch 2. I love the Stretch, man. The Stretch is such a damn good knife. Like, such a good knife. I had one. I gave it up. I wish I didn't. That is a knife I wish I still had in the collection. That, to me, the blade shape in the handle, just the shape alone is like one of the most useful shapes you could get in a knife, especially for versatility. There's like nothing it can't do very well. Like I would imagine like if I was going to have to go into some sort of like working condition or cutting contest, you know, for EDC knives, that's the platform I would want. Damn. Fuck. Gonna have to go back to that sperm. Hopefully those things are still trucking around. Joshua, thank you for the 5 bones. Here is a few ducats for the cause, man. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate the donations, man. And by the way, speaking of donations, one person has not contacted me yet. The winners from the giveaway was Talika, Jim, which they already contacted me. The one who hasn't contacted me is Shablama Bama Ding Dong. That's their name. So Shablama Blama Ding Dong. Make sure you contact me because you won the Patreon giveaway. Man, my Walmart has every Spyderco Benchmade KIZER. Has KIZER? Your Walmart doesn't have KIZER. You're lying. Kershaw in Ontario about you could want. I just don't believe that. I don't know if I believe that. Walmart has KIZERs? I can understand everything else you said, especially the Kershaw in Ontario. But KIZER? Maybe you meant to say something else. What micron gunny juice or stuff do you recommend other than 6? I've been using just 6 for maintenance, but I want to branch out. I would go coarser then if I was you. I personally have my best experiences on 12 and 9 micron. I would go, if you can, stroppy stuff is really good, or gunny juice, either one. But I would go to 12 or 9. Especially if you're using it for edge maintenance. You'll be surprised how much better 12 and 9 will work on edge maintenance, like specifically edge maintenance. Like you might not use that fresh off of a stone if you're doing a polished edge, but for edge maintenance, that's to me, that's like the best. I love 12 micron for edge maintenance. The compression lock / brown lock type button locks are the best. They keep the crisp detent missing on the plunge style button lock. Yeah, and speaking about brown knives, man, they got their knives are so badass. So badass. I really want one. I have a William Henry button lock from the 90s. Damn, son. Hell yeah. I got a oh man, what the heck's it called now? Now I can't even think of what it's called. Shit. That one with the woolly mammoth tooth inlay. Dang it. I hope we see more button activated compression locks in the future. I like that detent. Yeah, I agree. And we will. We definitely will. Just sharpened my knife with some stuff I learned from your last live. Turned out hair whirling. No shit. That is badass. See? You see, guys? Proof's in the pudding. That's awesome, man. Good for you. Yeah, it's amazing when you go for, and I'm not saying you'll get that every time, because sometimes you'll get really good results and the next time you won't, but the more times you get really good results, the more often you're going to get really good results, because you're going to get that feeling of what made it that way. So that's why it's good to just keep practicing until you can't fuck up. I forget how the saying goes, but it basically goes that way. Pros do it until they can't get it wrong. It's not fun. Having civics is not fun. We got a new system implemented today, and it's been down all day for the whole 200 plus person team. Basically, I've been on the phone with it since 7 a.m. I've lost hair. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, that sucks. Hey, gang, Jared, if you had to choose between the Wii Orpheus or the Kunwu S Tau, which way would you go? I would probably go with the Tau. I'd probably go with the Tau on that one. The S Tau is Vanex, ain't it? Am I right about that? I'll say this. I do have it. Isn't it? Yeah, it's Vanex. So I'd probably go that way because of that. I do think that Wii is slightly better than Kunwu. But Kunwu is doing better steels and I think a little bit better heat treatment. So it's tough though. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, but I probably would go with the Kunwu on that particular one, but in most other cases, I'd go with the Wii. But there's a Wii dropping tomorrow that's absolutely fucking fire. It is badass. Um, Speaking of OTFs, why can't I find anything about the Boker Mini Kalashnikov OTF? I don't know. I have no idea. I've never really gotten into the Kalashnikovs. Used your link. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. For original goat and got new scales from a Mannix ball cage from the Flytanium, but no link for there. I do not have a link for there, but I do have links for like they sell them on Blade HQ and stuff. I have links to Blade HQ. So like if you guys ever want something from Flytanium, check Blade HQ first for my link because they usually have the stuff. But hey man, I appreciate you using the original goat link, man. Thank you so much. And you guys, I appreciate anybody who uses my links. If you're randomly looking or purchasing a knife, I try to put every single dealer in every single description of every single video. So you can just go to my most recent video, scroll down, and you can find the dealer that you're looking for, hopefully. And yeah, it won't cost you anymore. It does help the channel. And I greatly appreciate it. It's a it definitely is a massive part of the channel is you guys using the affiliate links. That's why I work so hard to make sure I put them there. That's why I sit there and I not timestamp them, but I put them in order of the place that you've seen them in the video. Like, and you guys don't know, I know some of you guys might know, but most of you guys probably don't, how long I spend on links. I spend a fuck ton of time, man. Like even like today, well, yesterday, let's say yesterday I probably spent 2.5 hours just doing links for like 2 videos. So because but and then the video didn't even work. I didn't even get to upload the video. But hey, that's the name of the game. It's the name of the game. Hey, Maurice coming in out with the 5 bones. Hello, Doc. Shout out to Maurice. Long time supporter of the channel. Hey Jared, did you see the new series? Yes, yep, we checked those out. Did I not? Was that written again? Charleston, been a member for 7 months. And what's your favorite non-stainless and stainless steel? My favorite non-stainless is K390. My favorite stainless is probably S90. No, MagnaCut Van X, and then S90B. Jared, how would the Mannix 2 lock hold up against rust? Well, it's plastic, so it can't rust. The spring can rust. So the spring, yeah, you don't want to break the spring. Keep it oiled, just keep the spring oiled and shit. You should be fine, but that's the part you have to worry about. Otherwise, if you get a titanium cage, you don't have to worry about it either. I don't think they make steel cages, so but yeah, if you're worried about that, just oil that spring. It should be it's pretty easy to oil, I think. Yeah, because you can get to it right through here. So if you have a needle applicator, you can just go right through here and oil that spring. But the cage is plastic unless if you change it. Oh, you must mean the ball. The actual ball itself. Yeah, that can rust. I've actually seen them be rusty. So, the thing is though, is that if you oil your knife, right? See, I oil my shit. So I don't really worry about that because I'm going to drip oil down in there and I'm going to do it well enough and I'm going to do it often enough that it's going to get the ball wet because the ball like rolls right on the tang. You know what I mean? The tang of the blade right here, the ball hits and rolls on. So as long as that stays oiled, you'll be oiling the ball. So, but yeah, if you let it go dry for a very, very long time and you're cutting shit up in wet conditions or citrusy conditions, with fruits and stuff, then yeah, it'll definitely rust. What's your opinion on the Vero Synapse XL? Thinking of getting one tomorrow, but I need my favorite YouTuber's approval. I love it. I love all the Veros are good. I have yet to have found a Vero that was bad. I don't own any of their fixed blades, but I did get to try them at Blade Show, and I really liked them. I can't remember if I was able to post that video. I think we actually filmed it twice. But anyways, yeah, the Viros are dope. Great guy too. And that's another thing, you know, it's nice supporting a company where the owner or, you know, the makers or whatever are really good people, like, you know, solid motherfuckers. Like, I love that. And that's the way Vero is. He's a top-notch dude. If you ever go to Blade Show or anything like that, go and talk to him. I've met him a handful of times, and he's been a great guy. I was talking about the spring, but I didn't know that they could make a salt series with a lock that can rust. Well, the lock wouldn't. So the ball is steel. It's stainless steel. So it's the most corrosion resistant stainless you can get as far as, you know, for a tough steel. So it should be fine. The spring is stainless steel too. So, or spring steel, some sort of steel. But as long as you keep it oiled, it should be fine. And even with a salt knife, right? Even with a salt series knife, you should keep it oiled. There's no steel on the planet that can't rust at all. They all can rust. It's just the levels of what it takes to rust them, right? Vanax and MagnaCut are going to be like the best. They're going to take a lot. Like, it's going to take a lot, but it still can, you know, like if you, like, say with salt water, if you left it overnight, yeah, nothing's going to happen. Come back in 3 weeks. I guarantee you're going to see rust. You know what I mean? So just take care of it, oil it, you'll be fine. Abner with the 10 bones. Thank you for the donation, man. Since you don't have a link to his site, here you go. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what site you're talking about, but you're talking about for Vero? Oh, for Vero? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Is that what you're talking about? I do not have a link for his site, but thank you, man. I appreciate it. Hey Jared, if Civivi sends you a sendy, they might have already done that, to check out, I will allow you to send it to me after your review so it doesn't crowd the place. Not a problem, Rob. I really like it. I'll tell you that much. I really, really, really like it. That is the most unfailable flipping action knife I think I've experienced ever. Next to maybe my Herman. I don't even know if that's true, because I bet I don't know. I don't know if I could fail it, but I did my absolute best. I even tried to cheat and fail that knife. I couldn't even cheat. I couldn't even cheat it and fail. The only way I could fail it was if my finger was in the way when it was opening. You guys will see tomorrow. But it's a great one. Is there any reason you would discard a sharpening stone? I have an old one that has some pinholes and rough edges. Yeah, I would say if the work is more than what it's worth. So let's say if I had a $5 stone, $10 stone, right? And there's holes, pits, chips in it, I'm going to have to flatten it. If it's going to take me more than 10, 15 minutes to flatten, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to flatten, then I might as well just buy a new one, right? It just depends on what your time is worth, right? If, you know, like, let's say if you make $15 an hour, right? And the stone is a $10 stone and it's going to take you an hour and a half to fucking clean it up, you might as well just buy a new one. Now, granted, if you don't have the money, then yeah, spend the time, but you're going to have to spend the elbow grease and the time, and you might have to buy other supplies. It's going to cost more than the damn stone just to flatten it. So yeah, there's a lot of times when, you know, you can just kind of junk a stone. But I would say for good stones, no. For really good stones, I'd say flatten them out. You just take care of them. That's why you take care of your stones. Now, I know there's some old stones people get at garage sales and thrift stores and things like that, and I get it. I've had many of them. And some of them are not taken care of. So you have to do a lot of work to bring them back. But, you know, it does take some work. So you have a choice to make. Either let it go or put in that damn work. But you do want to make sure it's flat. You want to make sure it's conditioned. especially like if it's had all kinds of chemicals and stuff on it. Thoughts on S110V? I have a PM2 with it in my rotation. It stays sharp. Advantages over S90V. So S110V, I have a love-hate. I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I will say it's a funny steel. So one, sharpening it is weird. Like it's not like any other steel when I sharpened, you know, don't get me wrong, it takes a really good edge, and when you know what you're doing, it sharpens up really, really well. It takes an incredibly sharp edge. But when you burr removal, you don't want to deburr on the stone, which most steels you want to burr remove on the stone and then clean off on the strop. With that, you want to just fatigue on the stone and remove on the strop with S110V. But S110V, man, it's a steel that holds its edge for crazy long. The advantage over S90V, I think, is a little bit more stainless. The edge retention is going to be a little bit better on S110V, but not by much. You're not going to notice the difference. There's no way you're going to notice. The one thing I will say is S90V, in my opinion, is superior to S110V because it's a little, and it's not much, but it's a, damn it, it's a little tiny bit tougher. It's a little tiny bit tougher. So I think you will have a higher probability of your S110V chipping, especially with low angle edges. Obviously, this is a Spyderco we're talking about, and Spydercos do really well with low angle edges, you know, 15 degrees, 17 degrees, whatever. So if you're going to be tough on it in any way, shape, or form, I'd say go with S90V over the S110V. The S110V is going to be more likely to microchip. Now, if you're not going to do that in any way, shape, or form, and you're only using it for cutting performance or only using it for cutting situations, cardboard, paper, rope, twine, plastic, things like that, S110V, I mean, it's a motherfucker. It'll hold an edge. But yeah, it's a little funny the first time you sharpen it. Hey, Mama. Hope you're fine. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well, Mom. I was supposed to call you the other day. I feel bad. I'm sorry I didn't call you. I'll try to remember to call you tomorrow. Is there any tricks to fixing blade play? Tighten the pivot. I've tried putting Loctite in the pivot screw. Oh, I see. I see. So you're saying it keeps loosening. So here's your problem. So I'm going to give you a couple solutions. One, don't use this stuff. Don't use the stick, right? Get some actual liquid thread locker like this. The stuff right here. You can get the stuff exactly if you want. Get blue, though. Don't get red. Get blue. Red, you'll never be able to take it back apart. Get blue and shake it up and just add a little dot to it. After you apply it, leave it for 48 hours at least. At least 48 hours. You're supposed to leave for 24 to 48 hours. So after you put the screw back in, it has to set up. So if you just start playing with it, it's just going to loosen back up, you know, and if you start playing, so once you screw the pivot back in, get your action right, tune it just right the way you want it, so where it doesn't have play and the action is nice and smooth, and then leave it. Don't mess with it no more. So now the Loctite has time to set up. Now, another thing you can do is you can take a piece of thread. So like a piece of thread off of your shirt or something like that, take the screw out and wrap the threads. Don't wrap it tight. Don't wrap it like all the way. Just wrap a little bit and then put it in there, and that'll stop it from backing out. You can also use super glue. That also works. Just a little dot of super glue, but you got to hurry up with that shit. And once you put it on, you got to tighten it up, and then, but it's ready to go right away. You don't have to let it set up. So that's the one good thing. Just something cool found out. Laren Thomas confirmed that Sean Houston helped Spyderco with their heat treatment of their latest magnet cut. So it's got to be done well. Fuck shit. Yeah. That's awesome. I wish that they would spread that information to all the other companies. What's their excuse? I want to know. I'd like to know that. Like, you know, all these companies saying, well, Laren Thomas told us that we should run it at 60-61 or whatever the fuck they say. You know, even though they're running the steels, or they're grinding the steels as thick as a brick, right? You can't argue toughness if your knife is as thick as a brick. It doesn't matter how hard it is. You know, your steel's going to be tough. Anyways, but yeah, I'd wonder what they would say to that. I don't know. Yeah, stick Loctite's easy to use. It is, but it doesn't hold as well. That's the thing. If you use this, but if you find that it's not working, use the liquid. That's all I'm saying. I have this too, right? I use this more than I use that, but there's so many times where that won't hold up. Like I let it sit for 24, 48 hours and it still backs out. The liquid never does. The liquid always works for me. Now, if for some reason I had an instance where it didn't, then I would do the string or the super glue trick. Why are you smelling it? But yeah, I know it does. It does. Oh, it takes much longer. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too, which is weird, right? You'd think it'd be the opposite way. Company run by accountants think heat treat is cheese toast. Guess who? What's the super glue trick? You just use actual super glue. So you pull out the pivot or whatever screw, you drip the super glue on the threads and then screw it in really fast, put it all the way to tight, then slightly back it out, get your action right as fast as possible because it's going to set up instantly. So you want to make sure you don't fuck around when you use that stuff. You get it, put it all the way in, get your action right, and then it'll already be set up. So just make sure when because you know how like what I like to do, the way I do it is I learn where my pivot wants to be. So I'll tighten my pivot all the way and then back it out a little bit and find out like, okay, that's where my action is good and there's no play. And I'll remember that. I'll remember how much I backed out and shit like that. So I'll go all the way to tight and then back it up just a little bit. Make sure there's no play. Make sure my action's free. And then I'll know right where it's at. Then I'll take it back out, put the super glue on, and then I'll do that again. So I'm kind of just repeating it. Joe ordered some new glue and it comes out like water, but it works really good. He got it from Amazon. I have to find out. Yeah, but what we're talking about is thread locker, Mom. We're talking about for hardware, for pivots and stuff, which is completely different. But yeah. There's a lot of different kinds of glues out there. Like I just bought some epoxy. What the hell is it called? A two-step epoxy where you have to mix the two parts, a two-part epoxy, and that shit's like indestructible when it dries up. I used to use it for concrete when we were when I used to concrete repair. We would have to, like, say a basement would be cracking, right? And we had a year warranty on the concrete. So I'd come in and we'd V-chisel the this is how you do it if anybody wants to know if you have cracks in your basement or whatever in your walls or whatever. You V-chip it out. So you take a chisel, the hammer, and you V-chip it out. So now the crack has a V-chip all the way, you know, up and down. Do the whole entire thing. Then you fill it with the epoxy, and the epoxy is waterproof, heat proof, it's everything proof. And then yeah, you're going to see a gray line, but it's not going to leak. That's the point. It's not going to leak and it shouldn't crack anymore. Now, if it's not a leaking one and it's just a crack, you can put more, you know, just put the concrete back in there, get some mortar, mix some mortar and do it. But the epoxy works really well though. My top 3 zero tolerance knives. I don't know. I don't really have them. I don't really have any. Because I only own one zero. I own 2 zero tolerances. I have 2. I have the brand new one, and then I have the 0450. I really like the 0562, and I really like a couple ones that I can't remember the number or the name that are kind of more EDC friendly, but I can't remember the names of them. What do you think is the closest knife to a budget version of the Benchmade 940 Osborne? I actually just did a video on it. What was it? What did I just do a video on like the other day? I literally just did a video on it. I said, man, this reminds me of that. Give me 1 second. Let me look at my shit. Ooh, the video's doing pretty good. What was it? I can't remember now. I just did a video. I'm not seeing it. Man, it's crazy. I'm like brain farting right now. But there was a knife the other day. Oh, there you go. Yes, thank you, Jim. The Pyrotech Kraken, but that's still the same price, so it's not budget. But I actually did do a budget version the other day. What the hell was it? Let me see if you guys told me what it is. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. It wasn't KIZER, was it? Was it one of KIZER's? I don't think so. No, it wasn't one of KIZER's. Oh, oops. Hopefully we're still good. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but there was something I checked out the other day, and it literally reminded me of like a 940, the grind of it. Was it a QSP? KIZER Cryptid? No. Does the bench-made bug out supposed to have blade plate? No, not supposed to, but they usually do. Sup, nerds? Just got off work early. Get your ass back to work. What the fuck are you doing off? Aren't you supposed to be making knives? Time is it? It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Fuck are you doing? Taking a break. This guy's over here taking a break. Damn it, I wish I could remember what the hell that was. It's driving me nuts. Oh, but if you you know what? This is not a Benchmade 940 anything, but I actually have a video. Do I have them right here? No, I put them away. SRM. I'll just pull it up. There's an SRM, the 255L. I'll just show it to you really quick. So it's a crossbar lock. It's very budget friendly. It's super lightweight. It's not thick as a brick like a 940, but it's a good little knife. This guy right here. This is a good little knife. I'll show you another one too that's a little more full size. This is slim. It's a little bit shorter than the 940, but it's a good little knife. So that's a good one. And I do have a video on it if you want to check it out. Just look up Neevesknives, SRM knives, Neevesknives, and it'll pop up. Let me grab this other one. Or you know what? Can you guys see what I'm doing? Yes, you guys can. I'm looking for, oh, there it is. GFL. Okay, so these guys are really good. I do have the link in that video to this site right here. This is a good one right here. This one's really good. It's slim, but it's got, you know, a good lock on it. Good everything. It's just a good knife all the way around, you know. And I believe I have a discount in that video. I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me if you go there and I don't have one. But that's not budget though. I mean, yeah, if you want to spend, it depends on what it is. So like, yeah, but they're talking about 75, 85, 90 bucks now. SRMs, you can get those, like you can get some of those for 30, 40 bucks on Amazon. Even there, I think I have a discount code. So, you know, like, but yeah, if you're willing to spend it, then yeah, I would say go with the KIZER Drop Bear, the KIZER Escort, or any of the new KIZER knives that just dropped. They have crossbar locks. Anything from KIZER with a crossbar lock is pretty much good. So yeah. Will you ever do a review on the NAF Lulu? The NAF Lulu is that the one that's kind of like the Civivi that's coming out tomorrow? Oh, it's a fixed blade. Isn't this USA made? I want to. But I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. What sites would you recommend buying knives from on the secondary market? NAFSALE, that's it. That's the only site I recommend. And it's linked down in the description. That's not why I'm recommending it. I'm recommending that because they have you have the best chances of not getting screwed over, not getting fucked over. They take all the risk and whether you're selling or buying knives. So if you want to sell some knives, go to nafsale.com. If you want to buy some used knives, go to nafsale.com. That's the most reputable place to go. And everybody that knows about it is a knife community person. So it's not like eBay, you know, where fucking just random people are on. Like, it's mostly knife community members. So you're gonna, you know, I'm not saying you trust everybody, but they're gonna be a little bit more trustworthy. Exactly. Yeah. The 9201. Yeah, that's a good one. All of them are really good. I mean, I haven't tried too many that I didn't like. All right. So Jared, I just picked up a Spartan Acrobus. Have you ever checked one out? I don't think so. What is that one? Spartan Acrobus? Oh, I'm probably shitting the bed. No, I have not. Must be an old model. I think I seen one on another knife channel a long time ago, but no, I've never tried that. That looks cool though. Can a metal be so cheap that you don't get any burr at all hand sharpening? No. I've been sharpening nicer knives with these ultra plates and got a burr. I grabbed a cheap one on 300 grit and I can't get any burr. So you're probably not hitting the apex. If you're hitting the apex, you should be developing a burr. I would say either one or two things is happening. Either one, you're stripping the burr off by raising your angle, or two, you haven't hit the apex. One or two things. So take your time, hold your angle better, make sure you're being like really patient and calm and really pay attention to your strokes to make sure you're not lifting when you're going across the stone. Exactly, Lace. Right. It's all us. Exactly. You're buying from the community. You're buying from the people in this chat and and people just alike for the most part. All right, so the Arc Blast is nice, right? That's a good one. Yes, it is. Do I have it sitting here? No, I don't. That is a damn good one. I got one of these puck sharpeners. Not that I have an axe to sharpen, but I figured I might as well have one. These are for any type of sharpening you need to do where you need to take the stone to the knife, aside from fixed angled. So, but like where you're going to do like, a machete or an axe, these are really good for. It's got a coarse and a medium side. Put oil on it. Then I told you guys I got that freehand fixed angled sharpener coming that I'm going to be testing. And I've also told you guys I got the Sharpen's Best that I'm about to test. See how good this bitch is. I don't know about it. It does. This one didn't have a fire striker, but I did see that they had some with it. This one has some oil thing. That stinks. Anyways. We'll be testing that baby out. These are really cool to have. Bones Jones sent me these. So this is, you can stack them, but it's a diamond and an aluminum oxide. So that you can take it to like whatever, like say if you wanted to sharpen something, you can take it to the edge. All right, so fragrance of the day. So we actually have a couple because I want to talk about these two here in 1 second. The one I'm wearing at the moment, I actually did spray some of the second one here. We'll talk about in a second, but I got Exceptional Because You Are on right now. This is just a fresh and clean one. That's all this is. It's a soapy, clean smelling fragrance. That's basically all it is. Citrusy, fresh. That's it. Nothing special. It's literally nothing special. That's kind of the beauty of it. It's it smells great. I'm not saying it smells great, but it's just a freshie. That's all it is. It's freshy, citrusy, clean, almost soapy like, like you're fresh out of the shower. That's kind of the way it smells without being like say like a shower jelly fragrance. Like it's not like that. It's more of like a bar of soap. But with some citrus and some freshness, so it doesn't smell like soap. You know what I mean? It's really good though. It's nice and clear, so you're not gonna have to worry about it, getting on your clothes or anything. Sometimes you do if it's like a certain color fragrance. You have to worry if you're wearing a white shirt or something like that. But anyways, I'm liking it. I would say don't buy it if you want to try it. Buy something else. And that company, oh man, what company is it? Let me just, I think Fragrance Net. If you buy from Fragrance Net, they'll send you a sample of this. At least they should. Now, two that I'm testing out right now. One is, and I don't know if I like it. I can see why people like it, but it's English Leather. We'll look it up. English Leather by Dana. That is from Two Bones Jones. He sent that to me. Now it literally smells like English leather, if that makes sense. Let me find it. Here we go. I think this is it. So it smells like almost like a woody, leathery. There we go. Woody, citrus, aromatic, leather, fresh, spicy, animalic, powdery, musky, earthy, and lavender. I don't get no lavender. Maybe in the background, but it is very, very leathery with something on top of it. It almost smells like something Irish, even though it's English. It smells like almost like a an Irish scent. It's really good though. I just don't know if it's for me. Like I do find myself constantly smelling it. But I do know that a lot of guys really like the English leather fragrances. So, that's why I wanted to try it. And I do think that I could start possibly liking it. I did notice because I tried it a couple weeks ago and I was like, that's not for me. When I tried it today, I was like, I kind of like that, but I'm still on the fence with it. But I feel like it's one that could possibly grow on me. It's a mature fragrance for sure. You're not going to want to wear this if you're in your teens or if you're early 20s. But if you're over the age of 30 and you like leather jackets and, and leather interior and stuff like that, you just might love this stuff. This could be one that could be like a signature scent. This is more of a niche fragrance. So it's not going to be something you'll smell on anybody. You'll be unique and it's still pleasant. Like it's a pleasant smell. It doesn't smell bad at all. It's just whether or not it's for your own. And I'll tell you what, now I'm talking about it more and I'm smelling it, I'm liking it more and more. It does. It's like after it dries down, sweetness kind of comes out. It's like a sweet leather, like a sweet suede, not even just leather, like a suede. Now the next one I want to talk about is a barbershop fragrance. Somebody asked me the other day, what's the best barbershop fragrance? This is the best barbershop fragrance because it is Replica Barbershop. So Replica, I'll just pull it up. So Replica is a company that makes memories in a bottle. So they take memories and they try to create a fragrance that smells like that memory. Well, this memory would be a barbershop. And here's the note breakdown. You got fresh, spicy, aromatic, lavender, musky, herbal, mossy, and woody. That does break it down really, really well too. It does smell just like a barbershop. Like if you can picture yourself at the barbershop where they're, putting the warm towel on you, and shaving you, and they're laving you up, or how's it go? Lathing you up. it smells like that. Or like if you can just picture walking into a man's barber shop, not like, you know, a beauty shop, but a man's barber shop where you can smell the a little tiny bit of aftershave. You can smell the shaving creams. You can smell the leather seats. You can smell, you know, just like the cleanness, because, you know, they're constantly cleaning the surfaces and things like that. That's what it smells like. And it's good. It's very pleasant. It's definitely something that men are going to appreciate. The top notes are basil, bitter orange, and black pepper. Middle notes are lavender, rosemary, and geranium. The base notes are white musk, moss, leather, and tonka bean. My favorite replica is Jazz Club. That stuff is fire. It smells like tobacco and cocktails, but in a good way. Like, I know, like, if I just said that, hey, I want to smell like tobacco and cocktails, somebody'd be like, that's gonna smell like shit. But no, I mean in a good way, where it smells good. Yeah, this stuff, that replica is pretty damn good. Like, it's very masculine. This is definitely not something that's unisex. This is 100% man's fragrance. The soapy one, you know, like the exceptional because you are, it's a man's fragrance too. But if a woman wore it, she could maybe pull it off, you know, because it's just a freshie. But his name, but I laughed at his sharpener, aka Edge Destroyer. I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm guessing you're talking about this guy. Thoughts on Dior Sauvage? Great. I have most of them. Sauvage is really good. My favorite is the Parfum. Now there is like the elixir, but that's very expensive, and I don't think everybody's gonna love it. I'm okay with it. I like it, but the elixir, it has like a black licoriceness to it. So I would say don't buy it, get a sample of it. But if you want to get one that's really good, the best one that Dior makes is Parfum. The Dior Sauvage Parfum. That's the best one from them. It's really good. It's the most well balanced in my opinion, because the EDT is more of a freshie, and the EDP puts like a little bit of like depth to it. And then the Parfum is just kind of a blend between them both. It has the most depth in my opinion. I got 9 different scents from Micro Perfumes. Loving the ability to try all the different types of scents. Hell yeah. Yeah, I got Carrot just signed me up to one to get 2 fragrances a month to try out. Definitely happy about that. I like pipe tobacco, really good smell. Haven't smoked in 10 years though. So a tobacco scent has real tobacco leaf scent, or like it smells like real tobacco leaf, but the way it's blended, like it's not like say if you were a person that doesn't like the smell of tobacco, you probably would still like this because it's not like it just smells like tobacco. It's blended. So it's a note, you know, it's like any type of note you see, like when you see lavender, right? The scent is not a lavender scent. That is just a note mixed into a bunch of notes to equal a good scent. So tobacco is going to be just one of the notes. Jazz Club, it's supposed to smell like a jazz club. So it has a tobacco note. It has a like cocktail notes like booze and things like that. So it basically smells, in my opinion, like a sweet, woody tobacco fragrance, or sweet, woody, leathery tobacco fragrance. That's basically what it smells like. And it's fucking fire. I can think of a bunch of fragrances that have tobacco in it that are really, really good. Thoughts on Burberry? Mr. Burberry is my favorite. I can't remember it, but I did try it. I don't think it was for me. I think it kind of reminded me of this a little bit. The one I tried, I think, was a soapy, fresh smelling scent, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. Have I ever tried Oriental White Edition? More spring and summer. I don't think I've tried that exact one, but I do like Oriental fragrances. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've tried that exact one, but Oriental fragrances are really nice. was the weekend, and yeah, too soapy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the what I got from it, was the one that I tried. That's what I remember. I think I still have a tester of it, but I think I remember it being like a little bit too soapy for me, and it basically reminded me of like a Dove soap or something. And like some guy's skin it's going to work better on. You have to apply what works for your skin, your pheromones, your sweat, your everything, right? Even the clothes you wear. Like that's all going to play a part. Like there's certain fragrances, if I was wearing a suit and tie, I'm not wearing this fragrance, right? But there's other fragrances, if I'm wearing, if I'm just being casual, I'm not going to wear this fragrance. So, you want to pick the fragrance for the situation. And I could see that being a good fragrance in certain situations, but it wouldn't be something I'd wear on the daily. I'm going to make a short on Sharpen's best on this thing. Don't do it yet. Let me make my video first. Damn it. I was trying to be the first one. And listen, it might be good. I'm going at it. I'm going at it without any opinion at all. For all I know, this is the best damn sharpener that's ever existed. And we're going to find out how good it is. Nothing's ever beat this to my knowledge. So we're going to find out. To my knowledge, this is supposed to be the best. So let's find out. Let's test it on every type of edge possible. On damaged edges, dull edges, polished edges, brand new edges, bird edges, microchipped, every fucking edge you can imagine. I'm going to try it on, and I'm going to do it quickly. So I'll have that video done in the next week. Do they have a desert scented fragrance that the big girls will be attracted to? No, what you want for the big girls is you want the gourmand fragrances for the big girls. The gourmands smell like, it smells natural. It smells like foods, or yeah, it smells edible. That's what I meant to say. It smells edible. One good one that I would say is not 100% gourmand, but it's close, and it's like the best sweet fragrance would be 1 Million Lucky. I talk about it all the time. This stuff is so badass. But that one will definitely work on the big girls, but that works on all girls. So, if you're trying to if you're trying to stay away from the baddies, then you might not want to get that one. Just saying. Big Mac sauce. I've been curious for years what a real knife sharpener would think of Sharpen's best. Dude that sells it seems somewhat full of shit to me. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I don't want to go into it being prejudiced because I already am. I've been very prejudiced the past couple months on him. I've talked a lot of shit. So, now I gotta test it, and if the cards fall, I'm gonna let them fall where they fall. If it winds up being that this thing is awesome and I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, then that's gonna be the way it goes. And I promise you guys, I will 100% be as honest as I possibly can. And if I am wrong and it does wind up working really well, or at least working even somewhat well, right? Like let's say it just works, right? Let's say it's not great, but it just works okay. Then, I'm, I'll have to apologize, because, I did say that, a lot of bad stuff about it, but we'll see. The most wanted by Azzaro is a Carmelio, delicious. Yeah, that's a tobacco fragrance. Yeah, I got that one. That's a good one. I like that one. I personally like that even more than Spice Bomb. What's a good pipe tobacco spice scent? Red tobacco, Mancera red tobacco. And it is absolutely amazing, but it's not going to be for everybody. It's very heavy on the tobacco, very heavy on the spice, a hint of sweetness, but absolute. When you first spray it, don't spray it and smell it. You have to spray it, let it dry down, and then smell it, because it's going to hit you and you're going to be like, what the fuck? But just give it 2 minutes and it'll die down. And then you'll start smelling the tobacco and the sweetness and the spicy. I love it. It's one of my favorites. do have one really good use for putting a usable edge quickly on garden shears, machetes, etc. It will form an edge, but it's just like a wire, and that's it. Fails quick. Yeah, it's the problem when you're running that direction. You're not running the direction you want teeth to be, right? So you're not able to make a saw blade. You're making, I don't even know what you would call it, a wire, like you said. You're making a wire. Yes, Paul, you are late. You are late. Dolce Gabbana, the one, yeah, that's a tobacco fragrance. That's a really good one. So the one I just recommended, the red tobacco, that one is a beast mode fragrance. It's going to last 24, 48 hours, maybe even longer, and it's very powerful. Dolce Gabbana, the one, only lasts about 4 hours, if that. It doesn't last very long, and you have to spray a lot. It's not something somebody's going to smell across the room. Red tobacco, somebody will smell across the room. Dolce Gabbana, the one, you have to get right tight, right up and close to them to smell it. It's a very subtle, it's a good tobacco fragrance, but it's a very close to the chest, mentholy tobacco. It smells like menthol cigarettes, basically, or menthol tobacco. Sorry, not menthol cigarettes, menthol tobacco, or like menthol tobacco leaf. That's what it smells like to me. In a good way, though, like in a fragrance type of way. So not like, in a bad way. Gray before shave, caramel mocha beard oil is one of my favorite scents besides the cool water I've been using for literally 30 years. I heard the new cool water is like the best they've ever done, the blue stuff. I haven't tried it, but I'm thinking about buying it. I said that a couple months ago and I never did. But the supposedly the new cool water, the blue bottle, it's supposed to be just absolutely amazing. So maybe I should try it. The one is perfect date night fragrance. It can be. It just depends on the date. But yeah, it's one that, because it is a sweet fragrance. So when I say menthol, it's a sweet tobacco menthol fragrance. So like, it's definitely something that it doesn't push you off. Like, it's definitely more inviting, and it's good. It's not going to be for everybody, but red tobacco, yeah, one spray, 2 at max. I do 1 shot on the chest. That's what I do, and I'm good to go. 24 hours. Sometimes I'll do 1 shot on the chest, and I'll take another sweet fragrance and pop 1 or 2 sprays on there just to sweeten it up a little bit more than it already is. But it already has a sweetness to it. That's why I do that, because it just enhances it. You got to know what works well with another fragrance to do that. So I don't recommend anybody doing that without knowing. I'd say throw it in the garbage. Throw it in the garbage. Throw it in the garbage. You're not 15 anymore, and you should have stopped wearing it when you were 14. That's what I say. Get a real fragrance. That's what I say. Get a man's fragrance. A man's fragrance. I'm looking for a good sized button lock with any blade except sheep's foot. Any good recommendations? KIZER XL bag lighter, spear point blade, multiple forms of deployment, nice sound. Mine's rock solid. I have had one that the detent like got really light on it. This one's been perfect though. This is a great example. But yeah, that's a good one. Another one, Mad Tonto, KIZER Mad Tonto. The next one I would say Civivi Serene. Any of the Civivis. Any one of the Civivis would be good. So if you want to make sure you're going to get the best, get a Civivi or a Sencut. Still got the KIZER Mercury. I want to sell it. Which one was the Mercury? Oh, yeah, I still got that. I don't know. Why don't you? They got it. You can buy it right now. Use my link. You can go buy it right now. They got them for sale. I bought a mini Evo on clearance, and they sent me a micro Evo. Should I keep it or return it for the mini? I don't know. I guess that just depends on, if you like the micro or not. I'd probably return it and get the one I wanted. What do you think the quality of work sharp diamond plates? So it depends on what you mean, because if you mean the freehand diamond plates, I think they're pretty good. For the fixed angled system ones, I'd say that for the precision, they're not going to last very long. For the professional, they use 6-inch stones and they're going to last a decent amount of time. They're decent. They're not high quality, but they're not low quality. They're good quality. So same thing with their plates for their freehand and stuff like that. They're not high quality, but they're not low quality. They're good quality. So I think they're worth the money. They're pretty good. But technically, you could get more for less because, you know, Work Sharp, you know, they have their, like, whatever it's on that costs money, you know? So you can get like diamond plates and a base for, it depends on what we're talking about, like what system or what setup. Senka Arc Blast, yeah, but he was talking about he said large, I think. So those are small. Thank you, Todd. You're the man, Todd. Thank you. What's the best way to get Microtex into Canada without being seized? Do it in 2 packages. 2 packages, separate the blade from the handle, have somebody take it apart, somebody from somewhere else. So have it shipped to a buddy, have them take it apart, take the blade out, ship you the blade separately from the handle. British Sterling. And when I asked him what he was putting on, he told me it was elephant sweat. He didn't want to let his secret out. That was his secret shit. Do not spray red tobacco if you can't smell it on you. Nose blindness is a real factor with red tobacco. You might not smell it, but everyone else does, huh? See, I can't get nose blind to it. I know I've heard other people say that too, and there's fragrances I do get nose blind to, so I understand. Like Dolce & Gabbana, the one, that one I kind of get nose blind to. But red tobacco, I can't possibly get. I smell it all day on myself. Like every once in a while when I want to whiff, I just kind of do that. Sometimes you don't even have to. Like the breeze will catch you the right way or something, and it'll just hit your nose. I love it, man. But I like smelling my scent on me. Like there's something that feels good when you walk into a room, any place, right? And you already know you smell good. Now, I don't mean it obnoxiously. Like you walk in, and everybody's like, "Holy shit!" I don't mean like that. I just mean like you already know you smell good, and when you're walking, you catch a little scent of yourself, so you know what everybody else is smelling when they get close. And usually, it just leads to compliments. That's usually all it does. Oh, you smell good. You know, that's usually how it goes. But you can't overdo it. If you overdo it, they will be like, "Oh, wow, what are you wearing?" You know, and you'll hear it in their voice. You don't want that. You'd rather just have, oh, you smell nice. But there is a thing though with certain people. Some people, they have a stinky nose, meaning they're used to stuff not smelling good. So when they get around something that smells good, they call it out in an angry way. And to me, it's just a huge indicator like, oh, you're used to smelling like shit. You're not used to smelling good. You don't like the smell of something delightful, because to bitch about something that actually smells good, right? Like to think like that you're going to complain about something that actually smells good. Like, so what if you smell something that smells good? Did it just ruin your life because you smelled something like pleasant? So when you hear that bitching, you know right away, like, oh, they're not used to things smelling good. They're used to dog shit and cat piss, probably. Anyways, so red tobacco or intense red. Don't get the intense. Don't get the intense. Stay away from the intense. It's already intense. You don't need the intense. Every other time, there's no other bottle I would ever tell you to stay away from the intense. I would always say, get the intense. The intense is always the better one because it lasts longer. For red tobacco, it is not necessary. Absolutely not necessary. Stay with the regular stuff. Like, bruh, us knife people ain't gonna spend $500 on a microtech to commit a crime with it. I know, and you know, and that's the dumbest thing too, because it's like, let's just really think about it, right? Let's say tomorrow or next year, let's say this year or all year, right? All year, OTFs are completely legal to carry you wherever you want, blah blah blah. Do you really think the crime rate from OTFs is going to go up? Like all of a sudden, fucking crimes are just popping up all over the place, and they're all carrying Microtech OTFs. No, that's not going to happen. Actually, I would bet that nothing would change. Nothing at all. Because there's like little to no crimes ever committed with an OTF. They're always with kitchen knives, maybe a cheap fucking gas station knife. Anybody who spends good money on a knife, especially like, because OTFs, yeah, there's some cheap Chinese crappy ones that are fucking $20. Of course there are. But most people that carry a, OTFs are going to probably carry a little bit of a decent one. And let's say if they're carrying a cheap one, they're still not running around trying to poke people with it. It's just a ridiculous thing, and but that goes for every single, any law or restriction that violates your Second Amendment is all about control and nothing else. I know, in certain countries, you guys don't have that, but I'm just saying, like, even with you guys, like, you guys might not have a Second Amendment, but you can bet your politicians know exactly what the fuck they're doing. They're trying to, they're just taking inch by inch by inch by inch by inch by inch by inch until they can have fucking total control over you. And there's nothing you can do, and you get comfortable with it. You're so used to it. Any tips on mounting a ulu? The fuck is that? An ulu? Any tips on mounting a ulu in a Worksharp Pro Adjust? I don't know what that is. But I'll say this, if you have the Worksharp Professional, I would say make sure you go to my HAPSTONE link down in the description. Go to my HAPSTONE link and get yourself an aftermarket stone holder for that system. Make sure it's for the Pro. Make sure it holds 6-inch stones, and then you can buy any stones you want. You can buy my Neeves, you can buy Atomas, you can buy HAPSTONEs, you can buy whatever you want. With the Worksharp Professional, the one problem with it is you can only use their stones until you get this aftermarket stone holder attachment. Then it's a badass. I like to live on the wild side, on the edge. I'm always on the edge. I saw a QSP Rhino for 95 crackers. Should I buy it? It goes for 400 originally. No, I'd be scared of that. That's probably a ripoff. You're probably going to get robbed. Yeah, I'd stay away from that. When something's too good to be true, guess what? It's too good to be true. Yep. That's it. Suppressing of the population is all it's about, just a constant attack on simple rights. Yeah, and every inch they go, they get closer to their goal. And that's why you don't give up an inch. That's why I'm such a huge, that's why I'm like an absolutist when it comes to freedoms. I don't care basically what it is, especially when it comes to rights to bear arms, freedom to carry, freedom of speech, any type of freedoms. Like, I am 100% absolutist. Don't give a fucking 1 inch. And I'm disgusted that we've given up inches. Like to be convinced that we don't need this part or this attachment to fit this blank firearm or whatever it is, right? To be convinced and then give it up. What? Like, why? Why give it up? Even if you know it's not practical and it's not like it doesn't change anything, it doesn't matter. Don't give that shit up. Hang on to that shit for dear life. The longer you hang on to it, the longer you get. The longer you stay without tyranny. What's my favorite steel? K390. K390 is my absolute favorite steel. Next would probably be Crewwear. I really like Magna Cut and Vanax. I really like Rex 45. But K390, man, is just an absolute beast of a steel. That's a steel that has, in my opinion, the perfect balance of toughness and hardness so that you have maximum edge retention and you can get maximum levels of sharpness. I mean, I can get K390 so unbelievably sharp, and then I can hone it back. I can strop it back. It's just the steel that just stays like like aggressively scary sharp. Even with a super polished edge, you can polish it to death and it's just fucking aggressive. I love it. Same way crew wear is. Crew wear, man, you can put that crew wear, actually that's where it shines, is with a fine edge. Its ability to hold a fine edge is like tremendous. Its ability to hold a working edge isn't very good, but thank you. Jared's favorite steel is 5-star. Only on Tuesdays. They have crisis actors acting out some of the shootings / riots to cause. Oh, of course, but that's why you don't bend or break. There's nothing. There should be no reason. Doesn't matter what it is. There's always another answer. Whatever the other answer is, that's what you go with, right? Like whether it's mental health issues, whatever it is, right? Like you don't ever go down the avenue of take something away. It should always be, what can we apply or fix, right? It's kind of like the old saying goes, you know, like with a courthouse, right? Courthouse gets raided or shit like that happens. What do? They put guards there, right? They don't take them away. That makes no sense. You want to treat your country and your freedoms like a bank. We don't bend, we don't fold, we don't break. No way, shape, or form. If you want to do something about it, let's find out a different way to fix this. But it's not that way. We're not even negotiating that way. That's what I say. I feel like Jared 100% hurt himself with a butterfly knife. I mean, I definitely have before. Yeah, I like battle songs. I got a couple of them. I mean, I'm not a battle songer. I mean, you don't see me. I'm not in the corner at Blade Show, flipping them all crazy, but I do have a couple. I do like them. I appreciate them. I think there's some that are very, very well done. I've held some that are unbelievably smooth. And I can see why people like them. I know why people love them. I'm more into the manual style knives. I even like more than OTFs, more than out the sides. I like a good manual knife. Those are my favorites. So like how some people are battle songers, some people are OTF, some people are out the sides, some people are slip joint guys. I'm a manual type of guy, manual folder. You know, I love bearings. I like washers too, but just something about me having control over the blade, I really like. I like that it's almost like I have a relationship with the knife. Bang gang. What's up, Barry? We're about to get out of here, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate all the support. Rights are like muscles. If you don't exercise them, you lose them. You got to stay nice and exercised. Okay, Jared, I've taken my first step into not being a stinky bastard. Red tobacco ordered. I think you should have. I knew you were going to do this, so it's my fault, but you should have got a sample first, because red tobacco is definitely one. You're either for it or not. I think you're going to love it. I truly do. Just don't spray it and smell it right away. Give it a second. Spray it and then take a whiff. But anybody else who's trying to get it, get a sample first, because it is one that it could be a little bit too heavy for you. But I think you're going to love it. But I'll say this, one that I recommend to every single man in here, without an exception, no exceptions, I would 100% recommend Versace Dylan Blue or Dior Sauvage Parfum. One of those two, every single man in here will like, guaranteed. It's just, they're just perfect men's fragrances. In my opinion, you almost can't beat them. Do you know if the everyday carry gravity knife is good? No, I don't know about that one. Sorry, I wish I could help you. All right, guys. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for all the donations. Shout out to the Bang Gang Squad. And Shablama, Bama, Lama, Ding Dong. Make sure you contact me if you're in here, because you won a giveaway on the Patreons, and you're the only person who hasn't contacted me yet. Guys, we're going to have a great year this year. I love you guys. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.